Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello. Welcome in
Hi.
Scotland. So, welcome. We are another episode of Medicine Woman, Medicine Man that is all about connection, sharing, empowerment, and supporting the journey of being here on earth as a human. We are born as a humans with the souls, and universe bring Jasmine to Scotland, and this the way how we met is like through beautiful host a sister. It's a group on Facebook where actually women support women in many different ways. Sometimes they offer the accommodation, sometimes they offer they want to meet up, share, anything is possible. And I found that is this what really touched me. It's also we can support ourselves financially, but also it's all about the connecting, learning
Yeah.
about the culture and exchange.
Yeah.
So me and my flatmate, she is very good, and we sometimes host, if we can, we host the women. And I feel like it's also as me as a traveler, I feel it's important part of giving back and sharing. So I'm so grateful that here we are, and you're gonna introduce yourself, beautiful soul, and share more what you're doing. And I feel like this is no accident that we met, because Jasmine is doing incredible work, and you know, and her journey it's very also interesting. And we just met 2 days, I think, ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah, and
Yes.
when I saw you, you know, when you was coming and I opened the door, said like, I don't even didn't open your profile, nothing. I didn't read anything. I felt it like, oh, I think we have something in common. So we are here, and thank you so much for saying yes and willing to open up and say about your beautiful project that you also supporting the women, and we're gonna
Yes.
speak about it more. And yeah,
Yeah.
welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been lovely here, and
Mm.
I think it's like it's been, I think, more than a week that I've been in Scotland. Uh, but it's so warm and nice in your house, and it
Mm.
feels so cozy and it feels very beautiful, and it doesn't feel like we are strangers. Like, I think we've been
Mm.
talking for 2 days, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been wonderful. So I'm from India, and I live in a province, a state that called Himachal Pradesh, and I work with children there. So I run a foundation called Kahani Ki Dukaan, and
Kahani
Kahani Ki Dukaan. So
Dukaan.
the literal translation means a story shop.
A story shop.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. So Kahani Ki Dukaan means a story shop, and it's a place where we collect stories of the people who live around us, of everyday people. It's not, stories of somebody who's done something majorly life changing, but it's stories of everyday people. And that's, I think, what we like, because that is relatable. That is also something you can aspire or get inspired from. Or you could just hear the story and be like, oh, this could be my story too, you know. So I work with children. My foundation, it sets up expression art centers, and we work with rural children. We teach them theater, storytelling, music, visual arts, performance arts. And I feel that art is very important part of growing up, you know, like it helps you understand the world from a different perspective, and it helps you develop your own ideas and create your own perspectives about life, and it changes the way you think. Like, sometimes what happens is, in school we are all being taught the same thing. Yes. And we are all being put into these boxes,
Mm.
and we want the kids to come out of those boxes and have their own individual ideas, and that comes out in art. When you are writing a story, or when you are performing a story, so everyone has their own way of expressing themselves, and we want to foster that. We don't want everyone to think the same way. So I think it's very important. And rural areas in India, especially, they do not have, kids don't have access to, all of these resources.
Mm.
So we bring all these resources to them, rather than them having to go out and find and look for these things. And why should they have to? Like, this is something that should be provided to them. And it shouldn't be like not available. Like, it should be available, accessible to everyone. um,
Yeah.
so my foundation also works with women in rural areas. A lot of them are uneducated women who cannot go out to find employment. Some of them are on, like they are over 50 years of age. So but they work with us, so we try to revive traditional crafts and find a way to financially support these women and make them financially sustainable and independent.
And
you know
also, you told me like there is sometimes women that going through domestic abuse or different. There's like different stories, right?
yes.
And
So
your organization is part of the also have a net that somehow the women are getting support
yeah.
in a way that also they're getting more independent. So it's just incredible that you also not only educate them and give them uh, in a way maybe a new life, but also they can go independent and they can earn money for food and feeling safe.
Yeah, and we work with organizations that are working at grassroots
Mm.
and working with women who have who are survivors of domestic abuse,
Mm.
working with women who have not found support anywhere. Like, a lot of times it's also the society that pressurizes you, that and sometimes your own family does not support you when you want to separate yourself from an abusive household, or an abusive husband, because that's the reality of the situation. And that's a given. So there is an organization called Parvatiya Mahila Vikas Trust, PMVT. It works with survivors of domestic abuse. It works with survivors of caste based discrimination and abuse. And it works with women and children from the lower caste, from Dalit caste. And they provide them with financial support, with legal support, emotional support, and even economic support.
Yes, and it's like we need to address that because maybe some of us doesn't know in India, it's life. It's still like based on caste, and it's still can be very challenging for a
Yes,
woman,
it
right?
is.
Especially and like women, so also not everyone is educated. Can because it's coming from the castas. It's like the people cannot read, cannot. Uh, yeah, so how they gonna actually get support, right? Many people doesn't even know that this organization exists,
Yeah.
or even there are too shame because shame is like there's a way. So in Europe it's a little bit different, and I mean we are very blessed
Mm.
because there's a financial support. There is, especially here in Scotland, there's a shelter, there is a lot of support. And and India is a little bit different story. So when I met you, it really touched my heart, like actually these things are happening. And even if you know anyone, or in India, or you have some connection, please get back to me or to Jasmine for support. And we also, it's important to spread that message that we don't need to be suffer alone, and you don't need to be shameful of your story,
Yeah.
of who you are.
Yes. There's a lot of stigma. It's not just, like, there is a lot of social stigma connected to domestic abuse or marital rape, or even problems that you're facing in the family. You're not allowed to speak about it,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of times you don't find the support system there to even tell your story. So the organization that we worked with, Parvatiya Mahila Vikas Trust, PMVT, in Himachal Pradesh, they do all of this work. They do that work. They provide you with all that support, you know, and they also help you out in a lot of ways. That even if you are struggling, like if you are leaving that abusive
Mhm.
household and you need to find shelter somewhere. They will provide you shelter, they will help you find places, rent out places, or find jobs.
Wow, that's
So
really
they are doing
amazing.
amazing work. And so our work is to we the only way we help them is to give them support from our organization, provide them expressive art support, where how they can use expressive arts or performance art to amplify their messages, or to create awareness campaigns, and how can their message reach a wider audience.
But also, like as you said, we spoke before that it's beautiful. It's also, I think, coming from your background because your background is art and you've been fashion designer, yeah?
Yes, yeah, I used to be a shoe designer.
Wow, shoe
Yeah.
designer. Okay, amazing.
Yes. Yes, but I think now I'm using my art and design degree, the education, and while we try to revive the traditional crafts, we I can help women now in teaching them how to make design new products using the same techniques, using traditional techniques. How can you develop new ideas? We help them to learn how to how to do sales, or how to do the marketing, and how do you promote your product, so and how do you create new patterns.
I need
So
to take some teachings from you, my love. I look like myself. But it's like also we spoke about it because like now even in India, like people getting the culture is growing, and we spoke about it, how we can recycle the things, right? So sometimes you collect the things for
yeah,
free and you give them a new life.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then the craft in India, like when you always go, it's I could spend all my money there. I have no much, but when I go, it's the craft, the culture, the art is very rich.
yeah. So I think it's amazing to, like, when you go and start reading or learning more about traditional crafts in India, you will find that a lot of it, most of it, has always been very sustainable and has always been very environment friendly. It's because it was never commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So like the craft that we work on, it's called binna making, and binna making is basically making rugs, mats, coasters, like uh things where like mats to sit on, floor
Mm-hmm.
mats or door
Mm-hmm.
mats. And they were made all out of old clothes, and they were made from the leftover, the rice husk. And so like things that now we burn or throw away,
Yeah.
because there is so much capitalism, there's so much commercialization, and everyone is like buying clothes online, and there is a like huge intake of things that we are just buying a lot of things, and as soon as something is out of trend, we throw it away. So what we do is that, especially in rural areas, there is no proper way of disposing things.
Mm-hmm.
So they would find ways to utilize it till you know, it's just and like synthetic fabrics were not used 50 to 100 years ago, right? Like everyone was wearing and using cotton fabrics,
Mm-hmm.
or khadi fabrics, or woolen, something which is natural fiber.
I love
So
it.
it would go back into the ground, it would
Mm.
dissolve back. But now there's so much synthetic fabric that it's never going to end, it's going to live forever,
Mm-hmm.
like longer than us. So we try to revive the traditional crafts, because that is the way we should be living, that everything needs to have a cycle of a beginning to an end. Like it just
Mm-hmm.
cannot be a never ending product. So we try to utilize everything that we get, all different kinds of materials that we get from different households. We utilize them in one way or another. We do quilting, We make soft toys like plushies. We make little souvenirs. We'll make, bags. We are making rugs. We are making mats. But we are trying to revive old techniques, traditional techniques, and go back to the lifestyle we that is healthy, a lifestyle that is sustainable.
And we again like have a beautiful conversation because during my exploration and travel in India, I always try to go to places also remote and like nomadic approach to life and tribal way of life. It was very mm, it was part of Indian culture, isn't it? And we spoke about it that because of the changes that are happening, people cannot, and this I think it's changed everything. It cannot cultivate its tradition, and it's like the storytelling and all of that, like the connection with the land, that people cannot migrate as they used to. They need to now own the place. They need to own this way of, you need to own. The government will make you own it, and you don't. We say that we have choice, but actually you don't have the choice. And there was like tribal culture that was traveling because of the climate in India. It's very can be very challenging.
Yeah.
Many people, especially now, losing the houses because of the floods, because of that. In the summertime, it's too hot.
Yeah.
It's like so there is a reason why people cultivate that way of living, and they live not against the nature and the rhythm, but with the rhythm. Now I feel like it's in a way it's taking away from us, like it's in. And could you speak like more about your understanding? Because you work with the remote places, with the
Yes.
and you have more that understanding. So because it's part of life, right?
It is part of life. It was always part of life. So the place where the village where Kahani ki Dukaan was set up, we started it from. So that village is also home to this tribe called Gaddi tribe in Himachal Pradesh, and they are a pastoral nomadic tribe. So their life cycle used to be, like from summer and monsoon time, they would start traveling with their animals, with their herd and cattle upwards towards, pastoral lands where there's fresh grass for their animals, and they would feed them, stay with them, live with their cattle, and for 6 months, and start off their journey in June, and like go and come back, and then they would live there, um, carry their shawls, carry whatever is possible to eat, and they would live off the land, like they would just use the rocks or the ground as their bed, and use a shawl which is made of sheep wool and their own sheep, and they would, because they learned from nature.
And I feel like very like nature was impact on the craft, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like the conversation. Like one of my projects that I didn't develop, but is close to the medicine woman, medicine man, is whispers of the land. And I feel like this tribal culture, they have that
The understanding of
understanding
nature. Yeah.
nature and the land, because
Yeah.
they're living on it and they're depending on it, right?
Yeah.
It's like without land, without grass, without vegetative animals, without milk, they will never
Yeah.
survive.
And also, I think that also makes them respect the
Yes,
land
yes.
and respect nature. So they're learning. So Gaddi people, they make this shawl. It's called Garudu Garudi, right? It's like a huge, like big piece of shawl, very thick, very coarse on the outside, because that's how sheep wool is. Like on sheep, when you see them, when you touch them, the texture is coarse. It's not like soft like this. Like this is a
Yeah.
product like which comes out of fine tuning, and like making the yarn and creating the yarn. But when you touch the sheep, the texture is coarse, and what that does is it helps to keep the water away, like it's like a water repellent. It doesn't seep in, so the shawl stays
Yeah.
dry on the inside, while the water in the rain, the water stays on the outer layer of it. So they are still warm inside, right? So they are using those shawls as beds, as bedding, or as, their blanket, and living off just that one shawl for 6 months.
Wow.
And then they come back and they start walking back when it starts
Mm-hmm.
getting colder. So they will feed their cattle, their sheep, and they will let them graze on open lands. And for even for themselves, they will pick, like, leaves, eat, like you have, uh, it's something called sag. Sag is basically green leafy vegetables, right? So they will just pick edible leaves, and they learn, what is herbal medicine,
Mm-hmm.
what leaves can be used as medicine, what
Mm-hmm.
leaves are used, what is edible, what is
Yes,
not edible.
yes, yes. And we need to say
So
that,
they just learn it on the
yeah,
go.
and that the life is very simple. These people, like tribal culture, they're really, really very simple. They're quite humble,
Yeah.
and it's like it's down to earth, and it's really there's no luxury at
Yeah.
all. But the hearts are very.
Yeah, and it's beautiful because,
Mm-hmm.
like tribal people, Gandhi people, or other tribes also, they survived on barter system,
Mm-hmm.
where they will, when they needed to stay, or like have a spend the night
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, uh, in the city, because in the forest it's all your land, like, right, like
Yeah,
forest is
yeah.
just all yours, you can just sleep anywhere. But when you start entering uh, inhabited land, so you need to, find a place to stay, and you can't just stay anywhere. So they would use barter system to set up their tents and stuff. And like, they would provide the place where they are staying, they would provide the host with milk products
Mm-hmm.
or animal byproduct, um, and in turn, get a place to stay. But now what has started happening is, like, the barter system no longer exists. So you have to pay hard cash. And to earn hard cash, you have to, like, to have the hard cash, you need to now start doing jobs. You have to
Mm-hmm.
also start doing other things. You have to start selling your sheep, getting money, and then using that money. So I think, in a way, like, capitalism has really affected the lifestyle of tribal people, and
Yeah,
it has changed the lifestyle of tribal people, and it's
completely.
changing the tribal culture. And, like,
So how people now, you can see like how they live the life. Do you feel like part of the traditions and the way of living are kind of I don't want to say dying, but they are being forgotten?
I think a lot of it is being forgotten, but and we see this in rural areas, that people are trying to keep their culture alive. In cultures evolve, and that's part
Mm-hmm.
of life, that everything will evolve with time, right? So, but they're still trying to keep some part of their tradition alive through festivals or through celebrations. You will see traditions and rituals in during weddings, or there is this beautiful, so this time of the year, it's in Himachal, it's called Sair.
Mm-hmm.
Sair is the time when monsoon ends,
Mm-hmm.
and a new season begins, right? So it's the ending of the monsoon and beginning of the new season. And it's celebrated a lot because Sair, or monsoon time, sees a lot of destruction. Himachal sees a lot of damage to life, to property, to animals, to everyone, and it's not like floods and the property destruction is newer, but
Mm-hmm.
it earlier, because it was so remote, it's a hilly area, people are living on the mountain, so access to healthcare also was very little. So a lot of people would, like, monsoon would affect a lot of people would sometimes die. So they celebrate Sair as this new beginning, that oh, we are done with the, the destruction of the monsoon that it was going to bring, and now we are going to start off with the harvest. We are going to celebrate, because monsoon has also given us fresh crops. Monsoon has also given us food.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
they celebrate Ser as survival of monsoon and celebrate to a new beginning.
We have the autumn equinox. We call equinox. We have
Yeah.
the like spring summer equinox.
Yeah.
To celebrate the
Yeah.
circle of life, and especially in Europe we have the season. So it's in India as well. You have, but it's not that. It's different, right? And it's because India is huge. It's
Yeah, India,
very
you have
diverse.
different
Yeah,
calendars.
exactly.
Yeah.
And culture. So, but I also feel like if we speak about storytelling, a lot of stories coming from the land.
Yeah.
The songs, the poets,
Yeah.
they always was connected, and there was something very. For me, it's even hard to describe that connection with the divine, and I feel like something. It's for me very sad, like to see that actually we are not support the traditions enough, and even here in Europe, you can see how everything has impact. And and not only so many tribes like I know in Finland Sami people they not fight with the government, but they try to keep the tradition alive, and of course the economical situation in Finland is different, right? But it's also for Sami people also is not easy as well. They're also facing a lot of challenges, and you can see that these people just the tradition is like so deep within your heart, right? Because it's part of your life. This is part of who you are. This is your story, and somehow I feel like it's very harming and brutal to take your story away from you. And sometimes you say you have a chance and you can fight with it, but also there is like you need to involve because things are involved, because exactly this is, as you say, like exchange system. I will gonna give you shell, you will gonna give me I don't know, a ring or whatever. Yeah, it's disappearing. We like still like in villages, neighbors like, oh, before, like, was I will give you eggs, you will give me a chicken or something, right?
Yeah.
It was natural, and I feel like it was a beautiful way.
Yeah.
I know
I
we
think
try
some
to
of it-
we try to,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of ways that people exchange the services, and things, and I'm so glad to see it in a way.
I think in some of it is still surviving, like it's still surviving, as like we see in villages that uh, people who have land or farms, they give people who have cattle, they would give them like the grass, they would give them for the cows, they would give them so okay, they would give them space for their cattle to feed on their land, and in return get milk. So there is still a little bit of that, like people who have hens would give the eggs and get something else in return, or get milk in return. So it's still surviving in some places, this culture, this barter system.
Yes.
Which is beautiful, because that is what makes a community, right? Like that is what community living is all about. Like we don't see that in urban areas anymore. We hardly know who our neighbors are.
Yes,
right?
and people was gathering to hear the stories, because like somebody went somewhere, all village was gathered together, right? The heart of the village was like, it is important. It was important part of connecting.
Yeah.
And like I know like some changes are have impact, like radical impact, because of course there's a government. We don't speak much about it, but like some rules, unfortunately, I feel make it for people quite radical, and in a way it destroys the traditions.
Yeah.
Because I don't sorry, I don't understand why people cannot migrate from place to place as they used to it, and this way actually here is as well. It's the same that you need to own the things.
Yeah.
You have no choice. But
Yes.
we say like we have a choice, but actually when you cannot. You haven't. You need to own the house because you cannot migrate. But as I know, the climate can be very challenging in India, and the people migrate for many different reasons.
Yeah.
It was not only about the tribal tradition, part of it, of course, but also because they fight for survive.
Yeah.
to cultivate and continue the life they lived
I
for
think that's how
generations.
stories were traveling, from one
Mm-hmm.
place to another
Mm-hmm.
in the olden times. Like, how do we have all of these folklores and folk
Yes,
songs? And
yes,
how were they reaching the people? Is because the bards, the singers, the musicians,
mm-hmm.
they were the storytellers. They
Yes,
were traveling freely with the merchants, and they would entertain the merchants on the way, and they would go from one place to another, and the story travels from one place to another. That's how we have, there are stories that travel from what was Persia to India,
yes,
right?
yes.
Stories, we have like the Arabian Nights, and those stories came to us. We have stories very similar in, like, if you say European culture, and then there are stories in Indian culture, the folk stories, the children's stories, they're all very similar because they've traveled from one place to another.
Yes,
The names have changed because, like, according to wherever the story is
mhm.
traveling to. So there would be like, okay, you could, like, you have Romeo and Juliet, right? Like, and we have Heer Ranja, but both of them are tragic love stories.
Hmm.
Both of them are stories of, the boy and the girl belonging to different cultures or different castes or different groups, right? And they're not meant to come together. But at the end of the day, it's still a story of people survive, like people fighting against the odds,
Yeah.
right?
And I feel like it's very important to speak about it because I feel like we don't really reflect enough. And and I feel like it's really like even if you travel, as a like I really encourage people to go to places, to remote, to connect with the local people, to have that different experience. Don't rush too much. Stay and make that connection because it's important. It really gives you different experience, and you will remember that to the
Mm.
end of your life, and it's gonna touch your heart as it touched me. Because Indian people has very big hearts, and are culturally, and the castas and all of that. It can be for us. When I went to South America and I stay in one place in San Mateo. In Oaxaca. It's a beautiful region. And somebody told me, we spoke about the situation, and I had like a lot of ideas how to change the place. And my friend told me, this is the problem. You coming here, foreigners, like, gringo, whatever you call it, with your ideas, but actually they will like never ask how to adjust yourself to the culture. You just want to like you see that you are your ideas. So I think like a lot of as a travelers I can see that we also not poisoning, but we bring unhealthy ways, it's developing, but also like the question is like how I can give back, as a
Yeah.
traveler, because I feel like this exchange of energy, I'm coming with some money, with something, yeah, I'm taking, but what actually I'm giving back as a traveler.
Yeah. I think also, a lot of travelers, when they go to remote areas or to other countries, like especially I would say European travelers or American, English travelers, when they come to India and they travel to remote areas, they come with a very stereotypical
An
mindset
expectation,
and
right?
expectation, right? And then they want to also, because for the for English travelers, or for, like, I would
Mm-hmm.
say white people, right? Like, it's more about, there's a standard of living that you have for yourself,
Yes.
and that kind of is what you want everyone to achieve, and that is what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, going with that mindset that, oh, things should be like this is not the right way. Like, every place has their own way of living, own way of surviving, own way of doing things, their own traditional values to uphold. So, you, rather than going with this idea that, oh, we want to change it, and what is better? Better is relative, right?
Totally.
It's relative. Like, what is better? I feel the lifestyle in villages is better than the lifestyle in urban areas, in cities, because it's more closer to nature.
Yeah, I
Village
agree
people
with
are
you.
closer to nature, they are more eco-friendly, they
Resourceable,
are
they're
resourceable.
moldable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to survive.
Yeah, they're eating healthy food, they're growing food for themselves, they're eating healthy food, they're breathing fresh air, they're drinking fresh water. You are
Mhm.
drinking bottled
And
water.
this is the question what it means to be rich and poor, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have very little money and they live very simple and they crossing like like the road it can be challenging, so many people like really it's like life-threatening situation even if the children goes to school from remote places, and stuff like that. It's true, it's not like it's made as stories, but somehow they are bonded. I feel like they create that bonds, that belongs, and they become as a nature. I see that, it's like um, because it's for me that connection that they have and how strong they are and can make things from feel we feel like from nothing, but they actually know it. They know about the herbs. They maybe they don't even read. They don't write, but they have that incredible wisdom within.
Yeah. And that is a wisdom that is being passed down, like
Mm-hmm.
from generations, one generation to another. The festivals, the traditions in the festivals, the rituals, they're all passed down from one generation to another. And I feel like it's important to go and live somewhere and understand their lifestyle and why they are living in a certain way and why do they do things a certain
Mm-hmm.
way, rather than judging and wanting everybody to live off the same standards or the same way. So it's important to learn about their culture, learn about who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and how are they doing things, how have they been living all of these years, so and embrace the change,
Of course.
embrace uh, the fact that not everyone is the same, embrace the differences that we all bring.
And for that, we do need support, right? There's the community. We do need
Yeah.
that, whatever it is. And I feel like what really touched me, Jasmine, what you said that actually you allow when you work with the kids to bring the essence, and you support them to you don't teach them how to do it. You just give them resources, but they have its own way of expression. And I think
Yeah.
this is the magic of art.
Yeah.
And this is like I'm understanding, I have also experience in working in the theater and stuff. I've always been told what to do it, how to do it.
Yeah.
And I felt like my heart doesn't have, there's no space for expressive. If you go to art school, they will told you how you need to paint. They say after that you can choose. Yeah, I understand, but other hands it's the magic also for the soul in a way, because it's like, for example, like some part of the dance ballet stuff are very strict. I understand the discipline is part of the of and without discipline, of course, but there is a limit. I feel it, and the children need that think space for
Yeah.
playing playfulness, and
Yeah.
there is a way of approach of
Yeah,
education.
I think there is a difference in knowing the rules
Mm-hmm.
and following the rules,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So when you know the rules, you know how to break the rules. You'll find a way to break the rules. But if you're just following the rules without understanding your own self and where your individuality lies, then you're just following a path that has been set for you. Then you're not making your own path. You need to know the rules or you follow the rules.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, we spoke it about it because I truly believe that still education it makes huge difference,
Yeah.
because it gives the resources, like, and also like you told me that you do a lot of things, like, you told me about sometimes you set up the libraries in different places. Yeah,
Yes.
and there's a
Yeah.
lot of different small big projects that you educate people. Exactly, you give job, you give the resources. So this for me is amazing. And education, it's give you, like, and when people start reading, the writing, they can start communicating as well, because we are involving, right? So
Yeah.
they are more independent as well. And it's so important to support people and to with access to education. I know there's like some places that people haven't got access to the water. It's true, or to the
Yeah.
healthy food and stuff, right? And I think it's all about part of that education to support people in that
I think it's
journey.
it's about if you have resources, if you have a skill, share it with them, share
Mm-hmm.
it with people. Like, that's what communal living is, right? Like, if I know how to design something, or if I know the technicalities of creating a product, I can share that skill with the women who have the traditional skill to make those
Beautiful.
products, right? And then we can together create something beautiful that can help them become independent, economically and financially independent, right? I know art, and I know storytelling, and I know theater, so I can teach that to the kids who can use that to develop their personality or their thinking, or use that however they want to utilize it in their life. So it's just simply about sharing.
And empowering, right?
Yeah.
Because like you can find yourself through finding your own story, you know. And I could see that women, how sometimes, you know, the women that went through a lot, that how I can see that in the faces, how proud they are, who are they becoming and who they are, and that is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, when you see that women, that you know, you can see even faces changing, the way she smile, the body language.
Hmm.
It's so powerful for me, and it's beautiful. And we need to remember that it's also our responsibility, if you have resources, to give back and to support the people
Yeah.
in needs, even our neighbors. You know, I keep saying that we don't know who people are, what they're going through, and sometimes we are
Yeah.
too shameful,
And we have
especially in
been very
India
lucky.
culture,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
have been very lucky, I think, as an organization, as a foundation, we have been very lucky to meet artists who have helped us grow, and who have shared their skills with us, with the children. They do workshops, whether it's movement artists, musicians, or acrobats from Peru or Chile,
Mm-hmm.
or like Indian artists also. It's like everyone has been forthcoming with sharing their skill with kids and
Mm-hmm.
just teaching them ways of doing things. So we've been connected with so many people, and we have so many travelers who come and support our work. And it's about, like, we tell them stories of the people who live in that village where we are, and we share their stories, and we are privileged to share their stories. I feel that it is a privilege to be able to share somebody else's story.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's not it's I feel it's so important that their stories come out, or the things about their life are talked about, right? And that they give us this opportunity, they give us this chance to tell their story, whether like it's through movement or songs, and they share their culture with us, and which is big, which is huge. Like, somebody sharing their own culture or teaching you about their culture, taking that time out, taking that space, and creating that space for you you know
Yeah, and also, you know, I feel like it takes a huge courage to get out from stigma, or from, you know, somebody who say no, you know, who say no to the domestic violence, who say no to, it's not my story, it's not who I am. It's like fighting for its own life. In a way, I feel like this is huge like courage, and I really admire this woman, especially women's, because you know, in India, like, women very often has no power. Like, it's changing, you know, but very often you still, and there's a castas and
I
stuff.
think women have a lot of power. Yes, okay, we can talk about power in terms of political, or in
Yeah.
terms of, yes, yeah, there are times, like, like, where women do not have equality, or women are
Mm-hmm.
fighting for their place and fighting for their rights. But women are so powerful. They are so amazing in all the work that they do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we see in the villages also, that this whole idea that women are weaker, it's rubbish, because women are so strong. They're working 16 to 18 hours a
Yeah.
day, physical, hard
And they have
physical
families,
labor.
and they feed.
They feed families, they're feeding, and they're taking care of the cattle, they're taking care of the farms, they're taking care of everything, right? And it's
But often
so
it feels like,
it's
you know, it's like I said, like, no, the power, like it feels like, oh, women do nothing, you know, and stuff like that. But
I think women don't have rights,
yeah.
equal rights,
Mm-hmm.
yes, but we can't say women don't have power.
No, I
Women
agree
are
with
very
you.
powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a way, it was for me like maybe thinking about the government, and the political aspect, and the women need to they are like warriors, They need to fight in that way.
Yeah.
I was like, misunderstood my also words. And in India, I met a very powerful women as well and strong women. That's
Yeah.
why I really admire, because I know how hard it is because of the culture.
Yeah.
And and for me it's like, and I see this woman doing almost everything, maintaining house, cooking, waking
Yeah.
up. Not only in India,
It's
wake
not
up
easy.
for
Yes.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're smiling and they are kind, and and for me they're like goddesses,
Yeah.
and very beautiful, like I don't know.
And it's amazing how in doing all of that they will still take out time for you, and for little
Very
things.
caring.
And yeah. Yeah. And I think it's women who are making the house warm and welcoming and home.
Yeah, and we need to address that, like like please, like, and also like it's take courage to respect yourself, and even sometimes we feel like as a woman we say, oh, oh, somebody even give you a compliment, say, oh no, I'm looking rubbish, or I look terrible. I say that
Yeah.
very often,
Yeah.
like we need to really learn
Yeah.
to embrace that
Embrace that. Yes.
with
Yeah.
kindness, with
Yeah.
love, with like, yeah,
Yeah.
I am beautiful, I
Yes.
am worth it, and really feel in that body, right? And I feel like some part of your work as well that you're doing with women also take that, also learn people to embody it, and it's all about empowerment, and I am educated stuff, but I'm still learning to remind myself that who am I, and how gifted I am, but somehow I don't treat myself with neglecting my needs. We often
We
like,
all do that
we all
time
do
to
that.
time. Yeah, we
Yes,
all end
yes.
up doing that time to time, where we sometimes we will ignore our needs, but take care of everyone else's.
Mhm.
I think this is also a lot of conditioning that women have been through for generations, where
Mhm.
we've been always told to be selfless, and we've been
Yeah,
told to take care of others, and put others before ourselves.
this is part
Yeah.
of the, yeah.
There's a lot of unlearning that we have to do.
Mhm.
And it's not going to be easy. It's not an easy road to unlearn all of that social conditioning,
No.
because our mothers and then grandmothers and great grandmothers have been uh, going through that, and with each generation there is learning and unlearning
Mhm.
that comes.
So, like, from your understanding, and cultural backgrounds, you could say how the women are like, facing, what the changes are women facing now in India, like, as you as a woman, and or as you see, like the women that you support or working with, and kids, like how life has an impact
I think
on
it's
that.
it's it's not like there's no one answer to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even like an easy question to answer.
No.
That women in India, they have a lot of challenges. Like, when you talk about, if you're talking women in general, like, we are all fighting for our rights, for equality, for our
Yeah,
space, for our voices to
to
be heard,
express.
for
Yeah.
for
Mm-hmm.
just our space to say what we want to say, to be able to speak our minds. But then we also have women who are also then again fighting, who come from lower caste, who come from the Dalit women, or who come from tribal women. They're all fighting for their space, and we are all fighting to figure out like how to navigate this patriarchal system, right? Like, and how to dismantle the patriarchal system, or because and how to dismantle the caste system. So
Yeah.
caste is a struggle in India, we cannot deny that. And we I think it's important to acknowledge the privilege that comes with being or belonging to an upper caste, you know?
Yeah, totally. Because
Yeah.
it has huge impact on your life,
Yeah.
and people don't realizing. And you know,
Yeah,
for me,
you
even
have to acknowledge the privilege
yeah,
because it gives you a lot of, things, a lot of resources that come to you
but
naturally.
you know what?
They don't come to the women who
Yeah,
belong to the lower caste.
of course.
It's not given.
And also, you know, it's really hurts me, but I've been also with people that from upper caste, and I could see not everywhere, but how they treat the servant, and you know, and it wasn't really respectful sometimes, you know, and we need to address that as well. I feel it like, you know, it's not everywhere, and I want to judgmental, but for me, it's very painful discuss when I see that people you say they have choice, but they don't have choice, you know, and the way they are sometimes treated. It's very, for me it's heartbreaking when I witness, and I couldn't believe it. And sometimes I have polite conversation. I know it's part of the culture, so it's not me judge, because you know it's been for years, and it's also sometimes I need to reverse and step back, you know, and say like, because my mind cannot understand some stuff, some things,
Mm.
because they are not part of the culture.
Yeah.
But as you said, like it's totally like, you know, like, because you have access to education, you have access
Yeah,
to
a lot
standard
of
of
to
life.
yeah,
Yeah,
to a certain standard of living. You have access to resources that people belonging to the lower caste, to Dalit community, do not have access to those
and
things.
that's it.
And even to jobs or education, when we talk about, and a lot of people complain about, especially the upper caste people complain about, you know when you provide, like, why do they get reservation, so like that also is an issue. Like, you don't understand that you started the race like 100, it's
Mm-hmm.
a 200-meter race, and you started it at 100 meters, while the people belonging to the lower caste or the Dalit community, they probably started the race like much further behind, so it's not an equal thing. Like, you've already been given that privilege, you've already been given those rights, and you've had, your entire generation has been studying and living a certain lifestyle for many, many, many years, while people from Dalit community are just starting to reach or
Mm-hmm.
grasp that, so
And we speak, you know, about respect, about compassion, all of that, you know, like general, but actually the people from lower caste, what is the respect? You know, it's a big words, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
true. And I feel like it's important to speak about it. And this is where the change, I believe so, is coming from the dialogue and from understanding and maybe reflecting, you know, and
Yeah.
what can be changed to actually that everyone has rights, that everyone has respect. Is we are like, you know, it's like it's so divided. We are so divided by the color, by the
Yeah.
language, by the caste, by the religion. That also in India and here everywhere, but in India also it's part of the caste, and this has a huge impact on the culture, right? So I feel like that there is like a very complex, and Indian culture is, it can be very complex because it's so rich. And for me, like, you know, as a foreigners, I disagree with so many things, but now with time and understanding and keep going to India, I try to also not to be that so much judgmental, and find a way to understand why ask question, right? uh,
Yeah.
and don't judge too fast, just really questioning things, as we spoke about it, like, you know, it's good to ask question, it's
Yeah.
good to find, like, you know, and find its own answer as well, right?
Yeah. I think it's not also for us to talk about, like, especially when we want to talk about the caste system. I can't talk about the struggles of the
Yeah.
lower caste or the Dalit community or the tribal community, because I don't belong to that community. So I have no right or space to talk about it. I don't know their struggles. Like, I know their struggles at a very
Mm-hmm.
superficial, or at a very, like, surface level, but they are the ones who have lived through all of that, so they are
Mm-hmm.
the ones to talk. They have the right to talk about it.
Yes, but we can bring up
We
and to
can,
bring to rise
yeah.
just awareness
I
that this is
think, as
existing, right?
yes, yes, that's what we can do, is create awareness that this exists, and there are struggles, and then, like, people need their rights, people need their space, people
Mm-hmm.
need their voices to be heard, right? They
Yeah.
need to be and they should be given what they deserve rightfully.
Yeah, because people work very hard, and I met many people like during traveling that work like in India rhythm of work is different and things are different, but they still work for 10,000 rupees, which is around how 100 euro for 1 month, and they have families and they need to feed families and stuff. And for me, I cannot imagine even to travel in India for 100 euro. I don't know how long it's gonna take me. Especially now India is getting it's growing economically, and that's why as a low budget traveler I feel like it's important also to speak about it and also like to bring that awareness, because and these people also like they smile, they were gonna offer you a help, and they make living. And this, I think like this is something that I will never forget when I going to India, meeting that people that live almost for nothing, but they are quite humble to me, really humble. And it's and then it's really touching me, and I feel like, yeah. So for me as a storyteller, and in a way that as looking for a ways of healing and understanding world, to have that dialogue with the world and with the people,
Hmm.
I feel like it's important, and reflect, because sometimes we are also not appreciating what we have already. As you spoke, like, about the casta from the higher caste, like how rich we are already, right?
Hmm.
And how we can use our gifts to support each other and empower each other.
Yeah. Like I mean, I don't come from upper caste, but yeah.
Hmm. And also, like, and I would love to know and maybe share more about how your organization is working, and how do you raise the money, and how people can support you, and learn more about it, because we are running a different kind of projects and stuff. So maybe if somebody is thinking about supporting financially, or even have a time or some sources that could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if you have skills, if you have resources, and if you feel that, and if you genuinely feel that you want to share them with people who do not have those resources, then like we so at Kahani Ki Dukaan, what we do is we invite artists to come stay with us and do residency programs we offer. And you can come and do workshops with children, you can come and do workshops with women. If you are working with sustainable materials, you can teach them new skills. Or if you are an artist and you want to, like, do workshops with children and teach them new skills. So we welcome everyone, we provide you with accommodation and meals. You can
Mm,
come stay with us, you can come have meals with us, and just do workshops with children, do teach them whatever you can.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel the calling. I really truly feel the calling. And also, like, how do you raise the money to make that magic, because this is magic. This is beautiful when you can share and do this kind of things. It's just, yeah, and work with the people. I feel like it's
I think the magic
powerful.
comes from people we work with.
Mm-hmm.
Magic comes from the community that we work with, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they have embraced us and they've invited us to become part of their community,
Mm-hmm.
and they've given us the space, and they've taught us the songs, they've taught us their culture, they've taught us everything, they've shared their stories and culture with us, their traditions with us. I think that's where the magic comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful. I like when I'm listening about it already. I have tears in my eyes, because it's, yeah, it's incredible what you're doing. And how do you exactly take the money? Like, how do you sponsor how people can sponsor
Oh,
you,
so
and all of that? Yeah, because
yes.
it's important, because this is
So
the magic, how
yeah,
it can
yeah.
happen.
So
Yeah, you
we
apply for the different.
we apply for grants. Yes, we apply for grants. We have received grants in the past, but a lot of our work is, self sponsored or self, um like we are it's the team that's working, right? And the team is doing projects on the side. They're doing their own individual projects and using that money to run the organization. So I teach. There's another artist, Lisa. She's also a teacher, and she teaches visual art in a school. And I teach in colleges. I do workshops. As Kahani ki Dukaan, also we do workshops. We take on projects. We do sometimes we do corporate workshops also, sensitization workshops. But a lot of the like we are self sponsoring all of
Mhm.
this. But if anybody wants to support us, uh you can, get in touch with us. I think that's the best way to understand what is the need. Currently we are working on, opening a library in a remote village in Sikkim. It's part of the northeast in India. And we would be requiring resources for that. If you want to send us donations, get in touch with us. If you want to send us books, you can get in touch with us, or
Mm.
art supplies. We are always looking for that. Yeah.
Here in New Scotland, you will be have a lot because people are giving away quite a lot. You can find things everywhere, and you know what is beautiful? There is a places that in the parks or many different like small. Uh, I forgot the name for it, but small library that you can give the book and leave the book for free, like
Yeah.
exchanging. And I found this a beautiful way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will of course post all of the information and how can you reach out, and if you have more questions
Yeah.
as well, and the resources here, and also that if you know somebody that struggle with the with the abuse or domestic abuse, any kind that need the women that maybe in India need support, or they can, because I still like it's not it's maybe not enough the information, like it's like resources that people actually know what. Even for me, like if I would come to Scotland, I would need to find the resources to get a help. Yeah,
Yeah.
so spread the news. So if you know somebody, it's always good to spread the news, and support each other. I think like it's now we are forced. I think the nature is forcing us. Yeah, the government, the capitalistic approach. I often feel like a slave fighting for my place, as we said, fighting for survival. And I feel like it's a transformation where we need to be as a people, as a human being, come together.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and maybe come back to this pattern because it's happening. Like I know even the money exchange now, like here in Scotland, some places you cannot pay with cash, you need to pay with cards. And then I can see that people also fight for that right to actually have access to the cash, not relate to only for on the cards and
Mhm.
stuff. So like these things, I feel like it's important to reflect of it, and share your knowledge and share your experience. And because for me that these conversations always help to understand, uh, a step back from maybe from overjudging, or make
Yeah.
statements. Yeah, because we
Yeah.
have very strong statements, and sometimes they can close the door, many doors.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So I feel like it's good to reflect, and say like, even even if I wasn't right, or my way of thinking, it can change and open a new door.
Yeah.
And after your
I
experience.
think
Uh-huh.
open-mindedness is very
Yeah.
important. Like, like especially when you're visiting new countries or different countries,
Mhm.
or countries that the where culture is vastly different from yours, it is very important to keep an open mind and just try to learn rather than judging or making a statement. Just learn more about the people and their culture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm learning, because I need to remind myself this as well very often. And after working with people, children, after being living in the villages, like, do you see the transformation that is happening in yourself and other people that you're working with?
Yes, I think it's I can't say for other people,
Mm-hmm.
like we do see changes sometimes in women, and like in their way of talking, in their behavior. Yes, we've seen changes in children also, but I think I've seen a lot of change in myself. And I feel that living with the community, living with people in villages, it has really helped me find who I am. And it's really helped me find my purpose, as you say, in life, and what I want to do, and how I can help people or make a difference. And it's really helped me heal. I don't know, like if I'm like, I hope I am helping others heal, but it's really helped me heal.
And what is your understanding about the healing? Like, what is healing for you?
I think healing for me is it's a lot to do with uh, finding your voice, right? And it's a lot of it is to do with finding peace and calm within yourself, like, and finding that um, joy, like that real joy, when you when I work with the community, and when I work with women, and when I see them smile, and I see them laugh, and I see them celebrate, is it just brings a smile on my face. Like, I could be looking at them from afar and just see them like laughing and enjoying their moment, and it just brings instant joy to me. A lot of times, you get invited to these close circles, right? Like these intimate gatherings, and there are these secret private gatherings that they're only women only gatherings, and where women talk about their problems, they share their what they are feeling and how they are feeling, and or sometimes they share their grief, sometimes they share their joy, their happiness, and just becoming part of that sisterhood is, that is beautiful.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
I totally feel it, and it's different. You can. It's something about the expression, and it's really touching. But also, like, what is like your understanding about the sisterhood? Because in Europe, and I know in India also, there's like fancy mancy. I also hold sometimes. I did hold spaces for circle women circles, and sometimes I do that work and I feel calling and stuff. Sometimes I feel like it's a bit superficial, because it's becoming. It's also part of healing and sharing and stuff like that. I don't want to judge and use too many words because it's not me, and I like to do that, but it's not. I shouldn't actually, so I should just keep my
I think
mouth closed. But like, what is your
sisterhood, for me,
understanding? Yeah.
sisterhood is all about support system.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all about providing a safe space
Mm-hmm.
and providing support.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that is what sisterhood is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's about um it's like, if I need a space to talk to someone, and I need to express myself, if you are giving me that safe space and that comfort, and the openness to listen to me, and if you're giving me that time to listen to me, to just hear me out, you know that's sisterhood. If you are like host a sister, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
How
it's
we met,
beautiful
it's a
community.
beautiful
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood, right?
Yes,
Like, you,
yes.
where you are inviting somebody to your home, to giving them the space,
Mm-hmm.
giving them that safety, that
Yeah,
security, and that
yeah.
comfort, and giving them this a sense of belonging,
Mm-hmm.
that yes, it is your space too, or
Mm-hmm.
you are welcome here, you know
Yes, especially when you travel, it's very exhausting, very tiring, and different cultures. So I think like we need that safe spaces, especially with women to women. That you can support us, and at least for a period of the time we can create that bond.
yeah.
So I feel like it's just that beautiful as well, and because also you work with I'm sorry, tribal cultures and people, and you have a little bit as well understanding, but also not about it. Like, what is your understanding about if you hear the words medicine woman, and what is medicine for you? Like, what helps you to heal?
Stories are medicine for me. Honestly, stories are medicine for me. And uh whether it's the stories that I am telling, or whether it's the stories of, when I'm listening to stories, or when I'm talking to people and they tell me about their life, when I'm talking to women. So I write a lot of stories about women, I write a lot of songs about women. And so, like when I'm listening to the stories or when I'm telling a story, that is medicinal, that is medicine for me. Songs, when I listen to them, that is medicine for me. Honestly, like art is medicine for me. And expression, being able to express, being able to speak your mind, I think that is what helps me heal, and what is medicine. So I think that's an important part of my life. Like storytelling is a big part of my life.
Yeah, me too. I feel it like very strong how they empower and how they change us and how they change life around us.
Yeah.
How they keep actually like my soul alive, Even if I were going through sometimes hard time, I still like something is holding you, right? And sometimes it can be a song that brings smile on your face, right? Or it can change something.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's energy in that, and wisdom.
Yeah. Definitely wisdom. Yes.
Would you like to share something from yourself? Because I hope there will be more sharing, and we're gonna meet you with Jasmine. I really hope to meet you in India, and I will be so happy to do some project with you, because art is like big part of my life, and I feel like it will be amazing to have this authentic connection, and also learning and giving back to community. But so I hope there will be more sharing and maybe continuation, maybe maybe as a storytelling and bring that whispers of the land into it, that is deep calling from my heart, that connection of the people as well, and listening the stories. This is all about this medicine woman, medicine man is about. It's not about only about the healing aspect and people that are holistic practitioners or artists. No, it's more than that. Like it's heart to heart. I call it heart to heart, the soul to soul connections. Because I feel like this is part of of our existence, to remind ourselves what does it mean to be a human.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we need to relearning and learning things that we've been told, right?
Yes, we have to keep doing that. Yeah, and I think we like learning, unlearning is part of life. And once you stop questioning, once you stop learning, is when you stop growing. And you need to keep growing as a human, as a person, as an individual. You always need to keep growing, and change is part of life. Yeah.
Totally. And sometimes we fight with the changes, right?
And we fight with the change, and because change is, I think, anything that that is different is scary, right? Like change can be scary, can be intimidating, it can be uh like but
Yeah, totally.
yeah, like, but learning to embrace it and learning to just accept it in your life, and it makes it much easier.
And this is also like your learning so far and understanding.
Yes,
About
I
life?
think, yeah, about life, my learning and my understanding has come from, working with the community in the last 6 7 years. And it's been about how I've seen myself change. And I think being open to that change has been it has been a challenge for me. Uh, like, especially coming from a place where I was very introverted, and like I was not good at I still do struggle with social anxiety, and and then to performing on the stages and on different stages and festivals and everywhere. Like, it's been challenging, but I've had great support system, right? And I've had my friends who've supported me through it, and so I've family who supported me through it. So finding that right support system for yourself will help you embrace the change. I think that is right. That is what I said, like sisterhood.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to judge, you know?
Yeah,
It's
I
easy to
found
judge.
people around me. I
Mm-hmm.
found friends through Kahani Ki Dukaan while working,
Mm-hmm.
with the foundation and growing the foundation. I've met artists, I've met people
Mm-hmm.
who've become my friends, who've become so close to me, and like that's where I found like family.
Wow, and this is very big word, and it's very beautiful. Like
Yeah.
to see that those days, especially we're going through. Just we are all aware what's going on. So, and I feel like we are here really truly to support each other.
Yeah.
And the life it's maybe bring a lot of challenges, and we're gonna be maybe even more radical, in a way. But we do have we have a choice. Sometimes we feel like we don't have the choice, and sometimes you don't have the choice, and you need to go through that period of the time when the energy and timing will shift, because
Yeah.
there's moments that that you okay you need to do it, but things are not staying all the time the same, right?
Yeah.
And that to have that fuel, to bring that fuel into it, like I feel like this is like warrior energy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
women's has a lot that power.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also like sometimes you need to just take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and breathe
Mm-hmm.
and give yourself a break. I
Mm-hmm.
think
So
that's
so how, like, if you're going like through like overwhelming, or like you feel facing like challenges, like it really feels like there is no way, or something is feels like stuck, or even in the organization, or in your private life. What is what you actually to do at the time to support your well-being? Yeah.
so like honestly like this year has been very challenging for me because this year a lot of changes happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's a year of transition. I feel like this whole year is just transition, and um I've taken a step back, and because I've been working nonstop for like the last 6 years, and even before that, like it's just, but the work that we do at the organization, it can be very intense, it can be
Yeah.
very exhausting, it can be very emotionally exhausting and
Mm-hmm.
draining. So
Mm-hmm.
like I decided this year that okay, this is just a year of change, so I'm going to take a step back and I'm just going to take things slow. I'm going to let things happen at their own pace and not try to control everything that's happening around me, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I've given myself time and space to just travel and to meet new people, explore and open myself to new opportunities, and just sit back and let and see things from like a wider lens, and open myself to a wider perspective. I think when we are working, especially uh, the community work, and it can, and you get so engrossed in it, you create this, you end up losing focus.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just focusing on one thing, you can't see the bigger picture.
Yes.
So I think this year has been about stepping back and just taking a look at a bigger picture,
Mm-hmm.
and also focusing on myself. I
Mm-hmm.
think this year I have been doing things that I'm putting myself first
Mm-hmm.
and doing things for myself first. And because it's important to just rejuvenate, sort of like refresh, and like you need to help yourself also heal while you are helping the
Yes.
community,
Yes.
you are
Yes. Yes.
helping the children and the women, you're working with the organizations, and there's a lot of that work. But you need time and space for yourself. You need to listen to your body, you need to listen to your mind. And that's what I've been doing this year. Just taking a break, listening to my body, listening to my mind, and focusing on only taking care of myself.
Wow. That is, also it's coming from the wisdom, yeah, and that listening of our actual needs. Because by working with, for those who don't work with the communities and projects, it can be very challenging because there's a lot of things that you need to be mindful about, right? And then it's you
Yeah.
and you and your needs and your voice
Yeah.
and your fears and your struggles
Yeah.
and your pain and your joy, actually what I want to do, sometimes we love our passion, but then it's a moment that the our passion also there is getting poison.
Yeah.
So with the boundaries like towards is also very important. It's tricky, it's challenging, it's not like that obvious, right?
Yeah. And I think you need to take a step back to also to see how you are growing as a person, right? And sometimes you get so and especially like when you're working in a team, right? So you are a team of, and you're all individuals, you all come from different ideas, you have your own individual mindsets and way of working, right? So sometimes it gets really mixed up, so you need to find your voice again. So I think taking that step back really helped me find direction again, like okay, how do I want to, like what direction do I want Kahani Ki Dukaan, my organization, to take, and what direction do I want myself to take, right? How do I see, what collaborations do I see, who are the people I see myself collaborating with or the organization collaborating with, right? Where is my growth and where is the
Yes.
growth of the foundation, right? And where are we meeting? Like there needs to be the same path.
And I think like this is very important questions to all of us, that we need to ask ourselves and embrace the changes.
Yeah.
That it might have huge impact on our life and it can change many things. And sometimes you might go through the process of grief, to pain, through losing people around, through, but it's like recycling, the recycling process. There also is recycling and vanish, like, losing the layers. I love the snakes, like I'm so afraid of snakes, but the metaphor of the snakes is like they not only snakes, but they lose the skin and they change the skin, and there's something very transformative.
Yeah.
And how much wisdom we take from the nature, but we are forgetting that, that actually we have a teacher, a big teacher with us all the time, but it's like how many of us are willing to actually,
I
because
think it's
like
like shedding the layers,
yes,
right?
yes.
You need to shed the layers.
Yes, because so many of us just fighting for survival, paying the bills, and we go for holidays, but these are snaps, and this is not for me life.
And also letting go of things that don't serve you anymore, that are not beneficial to you. So, or letting go of people who, are not like, they don't have the same ideologies, or maybe the paths are different now, So it's like people change, you change, we all evolve and we all change. So it's important to learn to let go. And like I think it's what I've also learned this year is that it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to grieve the relationships that you've lost.
Yes, totally. And it's important process.
Yeah, it's important to grieve. It's okay to, be angry and be sad and be both at the same time.
Yes, indeed, because this is like part of life, isn't it? Like for me, it's embracing, really embracing, and I feel like many of people that I spoke to or I witness or observe that going through that transformative journey, and they really like start questioning life.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Jasmine, for such a honest conversation and bringing that voices, and it feels like it's powerful word, and what does it mean for us? So with that like sweet invitation to all of you, reflect and connect. And of course, if you would like to support Jasmine in India, please reach out. And or if you're looking for a help and support, or there's many ways, and I feel like there's this like dialogue that we can connect and spread. And thank you for the universe.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for my flatmate that that bring you here. You know,
Yeah.
because I for me this 2 days was very transformative and already shifted something with me, and that's why I love host sister. And I also recommend you to open your houses for such a beautiful travelers as
Yeah.
Jasmine, because there are many people that you know that coming with so much beauty
Yeah, I
and it's
think thank you to host a
important.
sister also to help connect us. It was
Yeah, I
wonderful.
think we
Yeah.
need to, you know, we need to acknowledge and be open, you know, because I feel like this is the beauty and really magic, and it feels sometimes that the magic is vanished, or we feel like, but it's we can transform, we can shift that way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
And we need to go through that. I need to constantly go through that shifting process. Because yeah, it's life is intense, and it's gonna stay that way, but we
Yeah.
have a choice.
Yeah.
In a way we have. So thank you so much,
Thank
and I
you.
hope there
Thank
will be
you, Issa.
continuation, and lots of love to you, and lots of blessings on your journey, your
Thank
personal
you.
journey, but also for your beautiful organizations
Thank you so
and
much.
women
And
and children and
yes, I
anyone.
look forward to seeing you in India
I'm
now.
coming
Yeah.
soon. My God. Oh, lots of love, gratitude. Namaste.